Hello, today I'll present to you palm oil and good fatty acids in palm oil. Palm oil is a vegetable oil extracted from an oil palm tree known as Elaeus guinensis. It is widely used in cooking, food products, cosmetics, and industrial products. It contains both saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. Although many people focuses on the saturated fats, it also contains good fatty acids such as oleic acid and linoleic acid. It is good for human health. This slide shows how palm oil is made. First, fresh palm fruits are collected from plantations. It then goes through sterilization, where it is steamed to stop enzyme activity and to soften the fruits. Next is threshing. This is where the fruits are separated from the bunch. And then it undergoes digestion. This is where the fruits are heated and mashed to release the oil. The oil is then extracted through pressing to produce palm oil. This process helps obtain palm oil efficiently for commercial and nutritional use. Palm oil contains several beneficial compounds. The first is oleic acid, also known as omega-9. It is a monosaturated fatty acid that helps maintain healthy cholesterol levels and supports heart health. It also contributes to membrane fluidity, which is important for normal cell function. The second is linoleic acid, or omega-6. This is a polyunsaturated fatty acid and an essential fatty acid, meaning the body cannot produce it on its own. It is important for growth, skin health, metabolism, and cell signaling. Palm oil also contains antioxidants such as tocopherols and tocotrienols, which are forms of vitamin E. These antioxidants help protect cells from oxidative damage caused by free radicals and supports overall health and immunity. The good fatty acids in palm oil are important because they provide energy for the body and supports heart health. It also helps maintain healthy cells and contributes to growth and metabolism. In addition, the antioxidants found in palm oil also help reduce oxidative stress and can protect the body from cellular damage.
Saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids contain only single carbon bonds, meaning they are completely saturated with hydrogen atoms. This creates perfectly straight, linear hydrocarbon chains that can easily align and pack tightly together, which is exactly why saturated fats like butter are solid at room temperature. Unsaturated fatty acids, however, change the entire game by introducing at least one carbon-to-carbon double bonds. In nature, these double bonds almost always adopt a cis configuration, where the hydrogen atom sits on the exact same side of the chain. This atomic arrangement creates a powerful physical repulsion that forces the carbon backbone to bend, creating a structural distortion we call a kink. For instance, oleic acid has single cis double bond and one distinct kink, while linoleic acid has two double bends, resulting in a highly bent irregular shape. Because of these irregular shapes, unsaturated chains cannot pack neatly or tightly together, which keeps them liquid at room temperature. Now, why does this molecular geometry matter so much? The answer lies directly within the structure and function of our cell membranes. The cell membrane is a phospholipid bilayer, and its fluidity is the absolute gateway to life. If a membrane were built exclusively from straight, saturated fatty acids, those tails would pack so tightly together that the membrane would become rigid, frozen, and brittle at normal physiological temperatures. By strategically incorporating unsaturated fatty acids like oleic and linoleic acid, the cell introduces these rigid kinks to act as physical spacers. They disrupt the tight, orderly packing of the hydrophobic core, pushing neighboring phospholipids apart and maintaining the membrane in a highly fluid, dynamic, and flexible state. This fluid structure is biologically vital for three main reasons. First, it enables cell signaling, allowing transport proteins and receptors to move laterally and cluster together to transmit messages. Second, it regulates permeability, creating tiny, transient gaps that let nutrients in and waste out. Finally, it allows for homeoviscous adaptation, meaning organisms exposed to freezing, cold environments can actively increase their unsaturated fatty acid levels, using these chemical kinks to prevent their membranes from solidifying and fracturing. Ultimately, it is this precise link between chemical structure and biological function that keep our cells alive, adaptable, and dynamic.
Lipid digestion occurs in the mouth, stomach, and duodenum of the small intestine. The process begins in the mouth with lingual lipase secreted by Apne's gland, hydrolyzes triglycerides at the acid-3 ester bond, producing 1,2-diacylglycerol and 3 fatty acids. Digestion continues in the stomach, where pancreatic lipase secreted by the pancreas further hydrolyzes triglycerides into monoglycerides and free fatty acids. This process breaks fats into smaller droplets and begins the emulsification process to increase the surface area for enzyme action. Furthermore, monoglycerides and free fatty acids combine with bile salts produced by the liver to form micelles. These micelles transport lipids through the watery intestinal lumen to the epithelial cells, also known as enterocytes, via simple diffusion because they are non-polar molecules. Inside the cells, fatty acids recombine again with monoglycerides to form triglycerides. The triglycerides then combine with cholesterol, phospholipid, and apopolyprotein in the Golgi apparatus to form chylomicron. Chylomicron are then released into the lymphatic system and eventually enter the bloodstream for the lipid transport throughout the entire body. Next is beta oxidation process. This is the process where fatty acids are broken down into acetyl-CoA to produce energy. This process occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. First, fatty acids are activated in the cytoplasm by combining with coenzyme A or CoA to form fatty acyl-CoA. This activation prepares the fatty acid for the transport into the mitochondria for energy production. Next, fatty acyl-CoA is transported into the mitochondrial matrix using carnitine shuttle system. The fatty acyl group binds to the carnitine, allowing it to cross the mitochondrial and enter the matrix where beta oxidation occurs. Inside the mitochondria, the beta oxidation cycle begins where the hydrogen atoms are removed to produce FADH2, followed by hydration and another oxidation that produces NADH. Finally, thiolase breaks the fatty acid chain to release acetyl-CoA and a shortened fatty acid chain. The cycle repeats until the fatty acid is fully broken down. After beta oxidation produces acetyl-CoA, it enters the citric cycle, also known as Krebs cycle, in the mitochondrial matrix. First, acetyl-CoA combines with oxaloacetate to form citrate. Citrate is a 6-carbon molecule catalyzed by citrate synthase. Citrate is then rearranged into isocitrate through isomerization. Next, isocitrates undergo oxidation and loses carbon dioxide. This process is also known as decarboxylation to form alpha-ketoglutarate while producing NADH. Alpha-ketoglutarate is further oxidized to form succinyl-CoA and another NADH. Next, succinyl-CoA is converted into succinate, and energy released during this step is used to produce ATP through substrate-level phosphorylation. Succinate is then oxidized into fumarate, forming FADH2. This process is catalyzed by enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. Next, water is added to fumarate to form malate through hydration. Finally, malate is oxidized back into oxaloacetate, producing another NADH. The NADH and FADH2 produced in this process enter the electron transfer chain to generate large amount of ATP. Besides energy production, lipids also have other important roles in the body. Excess fatty acids are stored as triglycerides in adipose tissue. It can provide a large amount of ATP during fasting, exercising, or low glucose conditions. Lipids also help form the phospholipid bilayer of cell membrane, which maintains structure, flexibility, and selective permeability of the cell membrane. In addition, they are important for cell signaling, transport of substance, and protection of cells.
Hello everyone, today I will talk about the comparison between palm oil, animal fats, and other vegetable oils, including the advantages and disadvantages of palm oil. Palm oil is one of the most widely used oil in the world, especially in food products. Some people believe it is unhealthy because it contains saturated fats, but scientific studies show that it also has several benefits when consumed in moderation. First, let's compare palm oil with animal fats such as butter. Research shows that replacing butter with palm oil can reduce LDL cholesterol, which is also called bad cholesterol, by about 9.6%. It can also improve the cholesterol balance in the body. For people with diabetes, diets using palm oil can reduce fasting triglycerides by around 13.2% compared to a butter-based diet. This means palm oil may be a healthier alternative compared to animal fats with very high saturated fat content. Next, let's compare palm oil with other vegetable oils such as soybean and sunflower oil, which are known as polyunsaturated oils. Palm oil can slightly increase good cholesterol or HDL, similar to olive oil. However, polyunsaturated oils are generally better at lowering LDL or bad cholesterol compared to palm oil. Studies show that replacing polyunsaturated oils such as soybean or sunflower oil with palm oil may slightly increase bad cholesterol level. On the other hand, palm oil has an important advantages in food processing. It does not require hydrogenation to stay solid at room temperature. This helps avoid the formation of trans fat which are harmful to health. Because of its stability and zero trans fat risk, palm oil is widely used in processed food and cooking industries. Palm oil also contains beneficial nutrients and bioactive compounds. Unlike many hard fats, palm oil is not fully saturated. It contains around 40% monounsaturated fats and 10% polyunsaturated fats. Unrefined red palm oil is rich in antioxidants such as tocotrienols, which are a form of vitamin E, and carotenoids. This compound may provide cardioprotective and anti-inflammatory effects. This means they may help protect heart health and reduce inflammation in the body by suppressing harmful inflammatory substances. Therefore, moderate consumption of palm oil, especially unrefined red palm oil, may provide certain health benefits. However, palm oil also has disadvantages. About 50% of palm oil is saturated fat, mainly palmitic acid. Excessive intake, especially more than 25 grams per day, may increase inflammation and cause negative effect on cholesterol levels. Repeated heating of palm oil, such as during deep frying, can also destroy antioxidants and produce toxic compounds that may damage organs like the liver, heart, and kidneys. High consumption may also increase the risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Palm oil contains beneficial fatty acids such as oleic acid and linoleic acid that support cardiovascular health, cell function, and cholesterol balance. These lipids undergo complex digestion and absorption, eventually entering metabolic pathways like deoxidation and the citric acid cycle to produce ATP, the body's main energy currency. Beyond energy, lipids play roles in membrane formation, signaling, and long-term storage. Compared to animal fats, palm oil can lower LDL cholesterol and improve triglyceride management while offering functional stability in food processing without harmful trans fat. Its bioactive compounds, such as tocotrienols and carotenoids, provide antioxidant and anti-inflammation benefits. However, risks remain high palmitic acid intake, repeated heating, and excessive consumption, and contribute to NAFLD, inflammation, and oxidative damage. Palm oil represents both promise and caution, a source of essential fatty acids and bioactives, yet one that requires mindful consumption and sustainable use. Just as biochemistry teaches us balance in metabolism, life to demand balance, recognizing hidden benefit while managing risk. In this way, palm oil story becomes not only about nutrition, but also about how we approach choices, health, and even self-discovery.